Hello and welcome to the weekly Shir in Yonagul Moshiach on the internet. Thanks to you and your participation, your encouragement, and the spreading of the Shir has grown to be the largest Shir in Yonagul Moshiach in English on the internet. And together we are continuing the journey to Geula. This week's Shir is L'schus and Refuah Shlema of Chizkiah Moshe Yaakov Ben Mariasha for a complete Refuah Shlema. Just thinking of the name Chizkiah reminds us of Moshiach, because the Gemara says in Sanhedrin that Bikesh HaKadosh Baruch Hu lasis Chizkiah Moshiach. The Eibishter wanted that Chizkiah should be Moshiach. The Gemara continues to say that the reason why Chizkiah was not Moshiach was because he did not thank Hashem enough for the miracles that Hashem did for him. And the Rebbe teaches us from here the importance of giving thanks to Hashem for the Nisim. So I am very sure that in the schus of this year, our dear friend Chizkiah Moshe Yaakov will be able to very soon make a Sudas Haidah and give thanks to Hashem for the great Nisim that Hashem has shown him with his complete Refuah Shlema. This week's Shir is in connection with our previous Shir, but can be viewed independently, of course. In our previous year, we discussed the inheritance that the Shevet Levi will have in the times of Moshiach, and we brought down what the Mefarshim, the commentaries say, that their inheritance will be in the lands of Keni, Knizi, V'Kadmoini, the extra lands that Hashem will give the Yidden when Moshiach comes. At this point, we only have 7 lands, but when Moshiach comes, we're going to have an additional 3. Altogether, we're going to have 10 lands. In general, the Moisa Mashiach, we're going to have a lot of things with the number 10. Chazal say that the 10th Para Aduma will happen when Mashiach comes. Chazal tell us that the 10th counting of Bnei Yisrael will happen when Mashiach comes. Chazal tell us that the 10th song, the Shira Asiris, will be sung when Mashiach comes. And Chazal say that the harp of Mashiach will have 10 strings. 10 obviously shows on completion, and when Yemoisa Mashiach, the world will reach its full completion. But today's Shir, we're going to focus on other things that are going to be happening in the lands of Keni, Knizi, and Kadmoini in the times of Moshiach. More specifically, the extra cities of refuge, the Ari Miklat, that will be added to the lands of Keni, Knizi, and Kadmoini in the times of Moshiach. There is a pasuk in Parshas Shoftim Chumash Dvarim, Perek Yutes pasuk Ches. The pasuk teaches us and tells us, V'im yarchiv Hashem lekeches gvulcha. When Hashem will expand your borders, when Mashiach comes, and He will give you the lands of Keni, Knizi, and Kadmoini. That's what Rashi explains. What will you do? So the pasuk continues and says, "V'yasafte lecha oid shalish arim ala shalish elu." You're going to add 3 new Ari Miklat, in addition to the ones that we have in the times of Galus, when Yidden inherited Eretz Yisrael for the first time. When Mashiach comes, we are going to add 3 new cities of refuge. V'yishafech damnaki b'kerev artzcha, and no blood will be spilled, innocent blood. To benefit those which have a more minimal background, what are these cities of refuge? The rule is like this, that if somebody kills someone on purpose, and he's caught and he's warned, he gets put to death by capital punishment by the Sanhedrin, by the rabbinic court. Somebody who by mistake killed somebody, for example, the classic example that's brought down is that somebody was chopping wood in a forest, and he has his axe, and he's chopping wood, and it was very loose. So as he swung his hand forward, the metal part of the axe goes flying and unfortunately goes and kills somebody completely by accident. He didn't know that he was there. Unintentional, 100%. So at this point, this Jew has to run to a city of refuge, which there were markers all along the road pointing to the cities of refuge, because the relatives of this person that was killed may want to take revenge and kill this individual. So he runs into the city of refuge by which the Levium were living there, and they would protect this person, and the relatives were not permitted to enter the city of refuge. He would stay there until the high priest, the Kohen Gadol, would pass away. Then he would return to his family, and he would be safe and sound and untouchable. So the Torah tells us that when Mashiach comes and the land will expand, we'll have all the Yidden back from all the generations, so the Yidden are going to be all over the place. So if we're expanding lands, we also have to expand the cities of refuge. That's the simple translation and understanding of the psukim of the verses. But right away, there's an obvious question. Why do you need cities of refuge in the times of Mashiach? Don't we all know, everyone watching this shir has probably heard by now, whether it's from me or from others, that in the times of Mashiach, people will be living forever. There will be no concept of death. Like the Chazal tell us, the pasuk in Yirmiyah, Yeshaya, Bila Mavis Lanetzach. Death will be swallowed up forever. There will be no death. So why is there going to be cities of refuge? And even more technically, even more seriously, the whole concept of killing someone by mistake, which someone may say, well, maybe that means that no one will intentionally kill people. But if it happens by mistake, maybe it could happen. That also doesn't exist. For two reasons. First of all, the concept of an avera by mistake, that itself shows that there's a certain element of evil that's still around. You don't do a sin by mistake if you're pure and holy and a tzaddik. It doesn't happen. The very fact that a person can even do an avera by mistake, that itself shows that he's connected somewhat to sin. And the Gemara says this fact that someone got killed by mistake also is probably because he did something, an avera, which warranted death. Just that he did it, for example, he did it without anyone knowing, and therefore the Beis Din could not kill him, so Hashem makes it that he gets killed by mistake. But when the times of Mashiach, when no one's doing averis, so then no one should be killed by mistake, no one should kill others by mistake, and therefore it seems that the whole concept of adding Ari Miklat is just waste. Why is it that we're adding Ari Miklat in the times of Mashiach? And the Rambam stresses this fact that we're adding Ari Miklat. If you open up the Rambam and Sefer Shoiftim Hilchos Malachim, the Rambam brings proofs that you must believe in Mashiach. And he says, because there are many psukim that speak about Mashiach, and the famous halacha, he says, Af Ari Miklat Nemar. He brings down the whole concept of Ari Miklat, that it says when Mashiach comes, we are going to add Ari Miklat. So we see that there's a strong emphasis on this adding of the Ari Miklat when Mashiach comes. So why? For what purpose will there be the cities of refuge in the times of Mashiach? So this question is asked by many of the commentaries. Some of the commentaries say that there's no understanding, we don't understand the reason. Gzeres HaKosov, this is what Hashem wants, that's the way it is. There's no reason for the mitzvah, just because that's what Hashem wants. But when you look at the psukim, Hashem spells himself out and he explains, he says, I don't want blood to be spilled in the times of Mashiach. So obviously there's a concept of death in the times of Mashiach, yet it seems to be that there will be no killing by mistake in the times of Mashiach. So how do we reconcile this? How do we put this all together? So the Rebbe, who obviously speaks a lot about Mashiach, but not just that Mashiach is coming now, but also explaining the way the world's going to look like when Mashiach comes. In Likutei Sichos, Chelek Chav Daled, volume 24, and it's Parshas Shoiftim, which, by the way, this year is being filmed and viewed in connection with Hey Tevis, which is, we know that Hey Tevis is the victory of the Svarim, which Rebbe said that on this date we should all buy Svarim. So by each Chassid and each Jew that's watching this, obviously he feels the responsibility to buy Svarim. So I encourage you to buy Svarim, but especially Svarim that speak about Moshiach, because this is the direct path to bring Moshiach. But anyways, back to what the Rebbe explains in the Kutei Sichos, volume 24, Parsha Shoftim. And that Sicha, the Rebbe explains the following thing. He says, first of all, you have to know that when Chazal tell us that the world will be perfect, there'll be no evil, there'll be no death, that's in the second era of Mashiach. There's the first era of Mashiach, which the Rambam says is the natural era of Yemoisa Mashiach. And then there is the more supernatural era when there's no evil, no death, purely tzaddikim. Yet even in the first era, there won't be killing. That concept will not be. It's just a very peaceful era, more natural era. So the Rebbe says like this. People are not going to be running to the Ari Mikla, to the cities of refuge, because they killed someone in the times of Mashiach. Rather, this is the case. Someone that accidentally killed someone in the time of exile, in the time of Galos, in order to get his complete forgiveness, the way it's going to, when Moshiach comes, he's going to have to go to one of these cities of refuge. He's going to have to visit one of these three cities, and then his full forgiveness will be in effect. The same way we find, for example, that somebody that became a ger, a convert to Judaism, in the time of exile, he's a full Jew. Yet when Mashiach comes, he's supposed to bring a korban, because really, in the times of the Beis HaMikdash, if someone wanted to be a convert, they had to bring a sacrifice, a korban. Obviously, in the time of Golus, we don't have a Beis HaMikdash, we cannot bring the korban. But when Mashiach comes, when you have that ability to bring the korban, you bring the korban. The same is true with this Jew that accidentally killed somebody. In the time of exile, he doesn't have the ability to have the forgiveness of the Ari Miklat. But when Mashiach comes, he will be able to visit and have this complete forgiveness. But that still does not answer the question 100%. Because why do you have to add Ari Miklat? No one's chasing him. Let him just go visit the other Ari Miklat, the way they're going to be, the way we had it in exile or the times of the Beis HaMikdash. They had their Ari Miklat before, so why add more if seemingly no one's going to be chasing him, so he has plenty of time in the world to get on his car or on his horse, wherever he's going to travel, and visit the local Ari Miklat. The answer is like this, that we misunderstand and we mistranslate the whole concept of why the Torah lets the relative go after this person. The Torah is not into revenge. We're against revenge. So why does the Torah allow this person to chase this man that killed his relative by mistake? The answer is that it's a mitzvah. A lot of the commentaries say it's a mitzvah upon the relative to chase this person. Whether he feels angry at him or not, the feeling of to chase this person down, this is part of the process, this is part of the mitzvah of Ari Miklat. Hashem allows him to escape, and Hashem wants the relatives to defend their relative. Not as revenge, it's a mitzvah as well. And therefore, when a Yid in the times of Moshiach, when he wants to do all the mitzvahs, they're for sure going to chase those people that killed their relatives in the time of exile, because they're doing the mitzvah also. So this person is going to be chasing this poor guy that killed someone by mistake, so he will have to have additional Ari Miklat in order to run to that place. That is the answer in the simple way. But now, like most things, there's an inner spiritual dimension which has to be discussed. And that is, by first understanding the amazing fact that Hashem allowed us to add Ari Miklat in times of Mashiach, what do we gain from that? And the Rambam brings that as a separate proof, that when Mashiach comes, we're going to add Ari Miklat. What's so special about it? What's special about it is that now the din of Moshiach is part of a mitzvah. There's a mitzvah to add Ari Miklat, and that mitzvah will be completed when Moshiach comes. It's not just a prophecy, it's not just verses and psukim that speak about Moshiach. It is part of a mitzvah, and a mitzvah is eternal and has to happen in a physical way. And therefore, it brings Moshiach, it makes Moshiach a reality that no one can say anymore, maybe Moshiach is a abstract revolution, abstract, emotional, spiritual feeling. It's not going to happen physically. The fact that it's part of a mitzvah and a mitzvah has to be done physically makes that the whole concept of Mashiach is actual and real. Why did Hashem pick the mitzvah of Ari Miklat? And the answer is as follows. First of all, we have to realize, and the Rebbe explains this in the Sicha of Kodesh Sichis, Chelek Lamed Dalet Parsha Shoiftim, that the whole time of Mashiach is like a time of Ari Miklat. When Mashiach comes, the whole world is going to become a haven. Ari Miklat is a haven for this person that's running away. Yemaisa Mashiach is a haven for all the spiritual things, for Judaism, for godliness. It's been waiting. We're running, so to speak. The whole exile, we're running towards the cities of refuge. The whole exile is running towards Mashiach. Mashiach is the Ir Miklat of time. Mashiach is the Ir Miklat of all spiritual things. It is a refuge of everything that was done until now. We've been running towards this goal. And that's why the inyan of Mashiach is expressed in the din of Ari Miklat. But there's even a deeper thing. And the Rebbe explains this in the Sicha of Shavuos 5751 Tafshin Nun Aleph. The Rebbe explains like this. There's a famous Gemara. The Gemara tells us that Divrei Torah koiltin, that the words of Torah, they protect, they are a refuge, they are a save a person. The words of Torah, learning Torah, a beis medrash in the atmosphere of Torah, that is our local Ir Miklat in the time of Golos. Like the Gemara says, someone that has issues with his Yetzer Hara, who's trying to chase him, to do a negative thing, to kill him spiritually, the Gemara says, Moshchehu lebeis hamedrash, schlep him towards the beis medrash to learn and daven. Because the words of Torah protect, they insulate the person. There are different levels of Torah. There's halacha, there's Gemara, and then there is Pnimius HaTorah, which is the Kabbalah Chassidus. When Mashiach comes, Chazal tell us, Torah Chadosha Me'iti Teitz, it's going to be a new Torah, which means there's going to be a new type of salvation, a new type of refuge, a new Ir Miklat. When Hashem tells us that when Mashiach comes, you're going to add in the cities of refuge, that is a reminder to us, and that's a sign to us that when Mashiach comes, there are going to be new levels of Torah which are going to be revealed when Mashiach comes, which will be able to protect Yidden in a greater way. The same way physically, having more cities of refuge is able to protect more people, the deeper parts of Torah that are revealed give us the ability and the strength of protection against any evil or Yetzer Hara that there may be. And when Mashiach comes, that there's going to be a Torah Chadash, a new Torah, so the whole world is going to be elevated, pure, better, and automatically all negative things will fall away. It will be Ar Torah Mikirbecha, all negative things will fall away. And the way to prepare for that is by learning these concepts of Torah, by learning additional parts of Torah which we may not have learned until now, the deeper spiritual, esoteric parts of Torah, the Kabbalistic, Hasidic parts of Torah. When we take upon ourselves to learn additional Chassidus and the Torah the Rebbe teaches us about Mashiach, this is the direct path to bring Mashiach and to merit to see the time when Eretz Yisrael will be expanded and we'll be adding the cities of refuge, the times when Mashiach comes. And therefore, I know that all of you enjoyed this year very much because you're watching till now. For those of you that want to see the previous shiurim, you can either go online, go to youtube.com, and type in one word, Moshiach Weekly, and you'll be able to see all the previous shiurim. If you want to get a weekly email about Moshiach concepts, subscribe to Moshiach Weekly, one word, at gmail.com. Anyone that wants to help promote this year by spreading it to their friends and family, that's great. Anyone that wants to help sponsor this year, again, you can email moshiachweekly@gmail.com. Thank you very much for joining us on our journey to Geula. Looking forward to seeing you, your friends, and family in the third Beis Hamikdash with the Iskalos of the Rebbe. May it be right now.